Welcome, fans and athletes around the world. Welcome to another episode of Primetime Muscle. Tim Wilkins, so happy to be with you, and Tarek El-Gindi. Good to see you, my friend.
Great to be here. I'm overwhelmed with joy.
Where you going? Where you going with this? Come on now.
Well,
Yeah!
And then there's this guy.
Yes! The real deal, Chris Cormier. So, Chris, I was so excited to wear my Christmas jacket for the Christmas episodes. Valentine's Day is tomorrow, and your jacket has the love.
Well, we are Dr. Love today.
You're the love master.
It's love. It's all love.
Some Courvoisier and some ladies.
You see the lips? You see the lips? I got kissed all over.
Look at that.
Ladies love Chris Cormier.
The LL
Real
Cool
deal.
Chris.
Yeah,
What do you think, Tarek?
you know, it's a hard thing for me, but his confidence as he wears this ridiculous outfit is something that I'm jealous of. I couldn't pull it off. I just couldn't pull it off.
Come on, man. This is gorgeous. Look at this style and grace.
I just want to see you walk through the
love it.
mall in that and just feel the heat come up as the women around you, the hormones peak.
I don't know. I'll be attracting a lot of something. I don't know if it's
Bees?
something. Yeah. Something. I'll be attracted to
I like
something.
it. It's bringing sexy back.
So busy, right?
So, Tarek, we're kicking off this show. One of the most popular bodybuilders of all time, hands down, Chris Bumstead, Cbum. And the topic of the day starts off, it is titled, Will He Compete? That's going to be no. What else you guys want to talk about?
There is nothing else.
There is nothing else. I don't think he's ever going to step back on stage.
You're wrong, Tim. You're wrong. And everybody who thinks Chris Bumstead is retired forever is wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. Chris Bumstead started his career as a bodybuilder at the North Americans. He won the heavyweight class. He ended his supposed career as a bodybuilder in Prague with a second place. This man is young. He's used to winning. He did not like losing. And I think as time passes by, he's going to say, I'm going to come back and compete as an open bodybuilder. I think this is projected to happen in 2026 or 2027. There are other factors as well. He's about to surpass Arnold Schwarzenegger in followers on Instagram. There's a documentary coming. If Chris doesn't compete, his engagement on social media, his engagement for his brands will go down. That's a fact. He became this big because he won 6 titles, not because he has a charming lisp, okay? So he needs to keep the engagement. He needs to surpass Arnold. He needs to solidify his popularity as a mega icon. And he needs to go back to the Open at the Mr. Olympia. I think he's going to ask your BFF, Dan Solomon, for an invitation for the 2026 or 2027 Open Mr. Olympia. And I think he's training very hard for that.
Chris, I'm going to throw, for the first time in a long time with Tarek, I'm going to throw the bullshit flag. I'm going to throw it far and high. I don't know if you've got the social media in Southern California where you live.
Because of the fires, huh?
No.
What an asshole.
No. Nothing to do with the fires. No, I'm just saying, have you kept up with Chris's posts lately? Chris is saying, I am going to be the hybrid athlete of the future. I'm going to be the most jacked guy at the marathon. I'm going to be the most jacked guy on the bowling team and show everybody what a true athlete across the board. And all that says to me is he's going to trim down a little, probably 20, 30, 40 pounds.
Yeah, I'm going to call, again, the bullshit flag on that, okay? Again, you are who you are. Like Bill Parcells used to say, you are what your record says you are. You're 6-6, you're 8-5. Here's the deal. I knew Chris Bumstead before he was this mega star. He became this mega star because he competed in bodybuilding. And if he's not that, his popularity will go down. That is a fact. You know, you talk about Chris Cormier. He was an icon. Jay Cutler, he was an icon. Their popularity decreased once they stopped competing. But Chris was already, he was older. Jay Cutler had some injuries. Chris Bumstead's still a young guy. And I think at some point he's going to realize that his strength is in competing bodybuilding. I don't think his fans are interested in seeing him running a Ironman in Hawaii. You know what I mean? I want to watch the best Ironman competitors. I don't want to watch a bulky guy playing tennis. That's not interesting to me. Djokovic is the best. I don't care if somebody's the tallest tennis player, the bulkiest tennis player. I want to watch the best. And he's the best at bodybuilding.
You know, whenever you start, or whenever you're bodybuilding, you're lifting year round like that, the muscles are less able to do the stuff that you did when you were younger. Me and Kevin, we're talking, joking back and forth. Kevin always thought he was fast. I always thought I was fast too. So we decided to race after a competition in Europe, I guess and where were we? Anyway, we're in Europe, and we're racing, sprinting for 50 yards. Both of my hamstrings locked up at the end of the race, and I still had 3 shows to do on the tour. So I think we were in Switzerland, I believe. But what I'm saying is, when you're an athlete like this, a bodybuilder, your body is not made for you to be running long distance, whatever, bicycle, whatever you're trying to do that's hybrid, like, when you're speaking of this type of thing, and switching to different sports and all this stuff. So your body's not going to work the same like that, for sure.
You talk about his image fading and the memory of who he was, although it's only been a few months. He's got ways to keep up with that, with his content. And like last year, Phil Heath had the Breaking Olympia documentary come out. We've got a trailer. Chris has one coming out. He was the standard for men's physique. It is called The Standard. We've actually got a clip. We'll give it a little preview for the folks at home and give a little chat about what it looks really high quality.
Jeremy Buendia was a phenom in the men's physique category, right? Everybody in the world was posing like Jeremy Buendia. What happened? Once he retired, there's new stars. Phil Heath, he was unbeatable. We loved him. What happened? He retired. New people come up.
Well, let's give this a look real quick and see what it's all about. And it's called The Standard. I believe it's coming to Netflix.
That's what I heard.
6-time Olympian champion, Chris Bumstead.
Did I set the standard?
You have been the greatest champion that we could have possibly asked for.
Could I have done more?
Give it up for Cbum.
He is proving right now he is the standard.
Was I honest about all it took to get here? Will I be remembered just for what I did? Or who I was?
It's Chris Bumstead here. I'm 21 years old. I will be making the switch to classic physique, so might as well step on stage and give it a shot.
Did I set the standard high enough? Only if you've decided to set your own.
What do you think of that?
I want to go lift.
Let's go.
Let's go. I think he's got ways between his new direction that people are going to follow for another year or two. You talk about guys that haven't competed in 25 years that were the standard at the day, still with the longest lines at every show. I think Chris's line, his following, people buying his stuff, having an ownership in Gymshark is going to sustain him for the next 5 to 7. And at that point, he'll go, I don't care if I ever work out again. I'm good. I think he's good. I think he's at peace with it too.
Tim, I think there's a part of him right now that's in peace. He's a new dad, but he's still a young guy. And he's a young guy that came out with a loss to end his career. Chris Cormier lifted his hand in Prague. And Chris called me from Prague and said, Tarek, I had on one side Martin Fitzwater and on the other side Chris Bumstead. And I lifted both of their hands and they were both shaking. The reason Chris Bumstead was shaking in that moment is because he didn't expect to take a second place. I think, yeah, right now you talk to him, he's going to say, yeah, I'm retired. Give me a few years. Let him go back to that gym. Let him watch the new classic physique guy win and get some popularity. Let him feel like people are forgetting about him. And he loves surprises. I think this guy will storm. And you know, if I'm right, you won't hear the end of it.
Yes, and in Prague, I mean, I'm telling you. In Prague, I'm telling you, Tim, in Prague, it was something. The electricity behind this guy as a competitor, you know, like I said, previously, people were asking me, like, when is he coming? When is he going to be there? They want to wait outside in the parking lot to see him. Backstage, 10 bodyguards or so. I didn't dare try to get close to him because I didn't want to get clobbered by the bodyguard. They were taking their job really serious too. And all the people was clamoring around this guy. Like, I never seen that type of energy behind Dorian, Lee Haney, anybody that I've seen, not that type of energy, not that type of electricity. And, you know, Elgindy is right. I mean, I was holding both of their hands. It was crazy. It was like I was in the middle of an electricity field, like, oh, dude, it was people doing cartwheels in the audience. It was crazy. You should have saw, like, so much. And then I think everybody in the building thought that they were not going to say number 5 first. And they said number 5, and everybody was like, it was a big gasp, like, oh, more so than Nico.
Well, we got his next move to look forward to. We got his documentary to look forward to, The Standard. Check out that trailer for yourself. We'll see what Chris does. He is the standard, and it's whatever he does, we're going to be there waiting to cheer for him. Coming up next, here's a bad segue with a pun. With Chris leaving Classic Physique, he left a big vacuum in the division. Thank you, Chris. And two of those guys looking to fill that void, Urs Kalachinsky and Mike the Badass Sommerfeld. We'll talk about the history between them and what's next when we come back. All right, there was a big shakeup at last year's Olympia Finals for Classic Physique. Mike Sommerfeld shocked everybody by moving up 5 or 6 spots. You and I had some back and forth throughout the year on where Ramon Dino would end up. Urs Kalachinsky kind of held that spot where he's been, but now without Chris there, there's going to be an interesting dynamic who comes out on top. And do you guys know about some history between these two?
I do. I know there's some dislike at some point. I think Chris Cormier was present
Mexico.
in Tijuana.
Yeah.
Let's give a shout out to my friend Gabriel Velasco. He's the promoter of the Extreme Pro in Tijuana. Some of the great competitors have done that. This year, Classic Physique and Wellness, I'll be the head judge. Gabriel Velasco, Extreme Pro. It's going to be an amazing show.
And also Jorge. Jorge from the hotel there is my friend there. How you doing, Jorge?
Wow.
So they
roll in the arm. That was nice.
You like that?
yeah.
Jorge.
Chris has plenty of experience
With
Tijuana.
with Jorge's?
We don't know, but whatever experience he has, we still love you and your jacket. Sommerfeld beat Urs Kalachinsky in Tijuana a few years ago. That's when we both found out who these two German guys were. And everybody was highly impressed with both of them. I was not there at that point. Chris was. He can talk about that competition. But Mike beat Urs in that moment. But after that, Urs just stormed and won everything against Mike Sommerfeld. And then there was a little bit of a dislike. I heard there was rumors and speculations that one had said, I'm the best German classic physique guy. No, I'm the best German classic physique guy. So I think in this relationship, they'll shake hands, but there's not a lot of lost love.
Well, I think at that show in TJ, it was closer than just a win and a loss. It was closer and it could have went either way. And, Somerville doesn't have the body that he has now. Back then, it was definitely not the same physique. So he came back this year stronger, where he was able to surpass Urs at the Olympia this year. But I did get a little message from Urs, and he said, today, there's no rivalry between myself and Mike. He said, I just have to nail my package, which I do almost every time. Consistency is the key. And he said, 4 years, no off season. I'm going to kick some asses this year.
All right.
He's had asses, but I said asses.
Well, thanks for cleaning it up and then not cleaning it up, Chris. So we got to look at how they look standing next to each other from last year's Olympia. I love how each of these guys brought a signature style. So Mike came in with the whole new facial hair, the curly Q mustache, and Urs.
I just want to stop this. Look at this look here. He's saying, "You retiring, bro?" And he's saying, "Do you need a towel, bro?" I just had to go there.
Well, look at the stance. Like, why the wide stance?
Ramon, you look moist.
I don't know.
You look moist.
Moist.
So
Let's
these
go.
two guys, okay, first off, Urs had to know he had a color issue, especially at the night show.
Well, his tanning looks like his hair. They both got super white. I mean, I kind of like the hair. It looks like a little bit of a futuristic look. But he was way too light in prejudging. He got better for the finals. But Urs Kalaczynski is an experienced competitor. You can't make this mistake. And, he looked better at prejudging than finals, even though his tanning was better at finals. But if he had his tanning darker at prejudging, we would have seen possibly a different physique.
So relaxed front.
Well, his relaxed front, you could see the imbalance between the right shoulder and the left shoulder and arm. Both of those are different from either side. I would say, make your stance, maybe not be so prominent with this shoulder, maybe get that down to look a little bit more evenly across in this stance here. But he's great at posing. Mike has his attributes. They have, very different torsos in each other. And Mike has a little bit thicker legs going on for the front of this pose.
Tarek, as Chris points out, those delts, is it just the pose, or are we between poses, which sometimes we do when we grab stills like this, or does Mike not have the bulbous, protruding cannonball delts that Urs has?
He don't have the big delts.
He doesn't. But Urs is a bit narrow, right? Urs is a bit
More
narrow
than
on
him.
the clavicles, and Mike Sommerfeld has large clavicle bones. But what,
Go ahead. I was just
When the Eagles sing Hotel California, you got to sing along. When you say large clavicle bones,
I gotta say,
we got to sing, man. We got to get a lighter going.
if Mike Sommerfeld increases the density, the size of his shoulders, he's going to create some distance against Urs Kalaczynski. Now, that's not to say Urs doesn't have an advantage against Mike, especially on the side poses, where because he's narrow, he can have a little bit more density than Mike Sommerfeld. And that's when the posing comes through, right?
Right.
Posing is the art of showing your strength, your large clavicle bones here. Let's get those shoulders going so you can create more distance, and hiding your weaknesses. You're narrow, make sure you have big shoulders, which is what he did.
And you notice that their heights are similar, very similar in height. So that's going to show up a lot more with the large clavicle bones in this, with these two going against each other. So I would say, really get in on that posing, really understand how to present yourself at the biggest you can as far as like your form, moving from side to side, your arm movements, maybe like not overdoing, stretching yourself out so much as he's done in the past. But, he's able to do whatever he needs to do. I think he's going to actually be very close.
Let's roll this forward while you talk to us, Tarek.
I'm going to go there. Okay, this guy has looked incredible, and so did Ramon in the past. But the guy that gave Chris the hardest time was Mike Sommerfeld, and I believe he has the great clavicle bones with a small waist. Ramon and Urs are a bit narrow. They're going to have to beat Chris on the side shots, right? But look, this V-taper by Mike Sommerfeld
hold back in the front double.
Is beautiful.
Go back in the front double, please.
Yeah. There we go, right there. Oh, that was beautiful.
Cbum. Set yourself up.
Look at the depth of Urs' abs. Even on a vacuum, he's got those really deep, separated abs. Okay, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, so now you see they both got the vacuum. You can see the difference with Mike with the wider torso through the lat area. I like how they're both taking care of those upper thighs with the sartorius muscles, the cormiers, if you will, coming from the hip bone all the way down to the kneecap. And you don't see the champion really displaying that type of separation and definition. But that's where they thought Mike might have had came closer to Chris.
I'm going to tell you, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. The positioning of the legs, the small waist, the V-taper, he's creating an angle. This is why this guy, he got a few first place votes. Mike Sommerfeld, according to some judges, beat Chris Bumstead. Chris Bumstead had the majority, but Mike Sommerfeld looked incredible. And this is one of the poses that you can go straight up and say, hey, I think he beat Chris on this one.
One of my favorite muscles is the serratus. I like the way that Urs is shaped and the depth and the definition here could have been a lot tighter. But Chris, as a posing master, as good as Mike looks like there, wouldn't you have liked to pitch those hips off just a little and turn, you're talking about creating an angle, and just really get that waist to disappear?
Yeah, he could have utilized his legs a little bit different. If you have a very close stance here, his heel to heel is very close. It's more like an older school type pose. But if you bring this foot out a little bit further, you can utilize all these muscles going to a knee bend and then coming in to a more of your heel a little bit higher and your more of an arch and a pressure line from the ball of your foot all the way up into into your hip. And that's going to create a whole nother dimension of shape and utilization of your physique. And I think the same thing with my friend here, Urs. If he had a little wider stance, he could probably utilize his legs in a little bit more formidable fashion. And that way, when you get that, you created more of an angle. He's too straight up and down, and that's going to be a disservice to his physique if he's trying to go against Mike.
Well, so Tarek, Chris has the text from Urs saying there's no bad blood between us. If that's true, whether or not it is, then you just got two guys that want it really bad that are going to tear at each other to get it done.
Oh, God, let's get real. You know, I mean, what kind of BS is this? There's no rivalry.
He said there's no rivalry.
If there's no rivalry, just come up and tell everybody the guy's better than you. Okay, this is bodybuilding. Urs Kalaczynski, you think you're better than Mike Sommerfeld, and you think you're going to beat the crap out of him. Mike Sommerfeld, you beat him in Tijuana, and you beat him the last time. You're thinking to yourself, I'm never going to lose to this guy again in his hair, okay? That's the bottom line, people. Stop with the, oh, I love everybody, okay? I love everybody, okay? It's like, you want to defeat the guy or not? You got a great physique. You just beat Chris Bumstead, according to some judges. You need to come back storming and letting the world know you're the best German classic physique guy. You're not going to get to your fullest potential by being a little bit mentally soft.
Negative. You are correct. All right. We will see as this season unfolds We've got 2 guys that are already qualified for next year, but will they get out in there and mix it up and get ready for the Olympia, or are we just going to see them on the big stage in a few months?
Are you going to stand in your boxes or are you going to move up? Take charge.
Let us know what you think about that in the comments section. And when we come back, one of the surprises coming up in the last year or so in men's physique, and I saw him in the lobby at the Olympia last year, and he quickly just pulled up that shirt, just peeled. Ali Bilal, we'll talk about.
Showed you that?
Oh, yeah. Had no problem. Yeah, I'm peeled.
No longer Ryan Terry's boyfriend.
I
Huh?
didn't say that. I didn't say that. I just said Ali looked good.
Nah,
We'll
Ali's
talk about
good.
that when we come. And I'll throw in some Ryan Terry when we come back. Men's physique has really, you talk about since the inception, how it's grown, how it's filled out. It's probably, what, a quarter to probably that of every show out of the 9 or 10 divisions. Men's physique and bikini are probably by far the 2 biggest, correct?
Men's physique is a huge success. Bikini is a huge success. I would put bikini number 1 and men's physique number 2 in terms of number of competitors in the NPC.
So with that said, as with all the divisions, all the way back to the Larry Scott days of men's bodybuilding, the divisions have evolved. And since its inception, men's physique has gotten considerably bigger, but the conditioning has just come just night and day. Now you got guys, a couple years ago, one of my favorites was Daniel Amons. He just came in shredded to the 2 shows that he won. And then Ali Bilal this year was the guy that I said, that is next level conditioning.
Absolutely. I just want to reference that in every sport, there's evolution.
First it was you, your body type, remember?
Yeah,
Percentage
put a B-roll of me when I was in shape.
First
Put a
it was,
B-roll. If they create...
first it was you,
Yeah, put a B-roll, Nico, of me when I was in shape, okay?
and then it was the beach body that it went a little bit more beach body.
More
than-
beach body.
A little bit
and-
more beach
but
body than you.
The evolution of the sport happens in every sport. Larry Scott is nowhere near the amount of density that we find in Samson Dauda. The amount of conditioning we see in Samson Dauda is nowhere near Larry Scott, right? There's a huge gap. Nobody's complaining about that, right?
Right.
The only people who are complaining are the ones that don't have legs. No pun intended here, Tim. But going back to Ali Bilal, a phenomenal competitor. And like Tim said, Tim loves his obliques. I also love his conditioning. I saw him in Pittsburgh, in New York, and I said to myself, this guy is going to be gunning for the title. We did an interview with him afterwards,
Right.
and he straight up said, Ryan Terry is comfortable. You know, he's not as hungry as me. Ryan Terry is in the UK getting compliments online from Tim Wilkins. I'm hungry as hell. I'm going after the title.
But he heard that loud and clear. Ryan Terry heard that loud and clear. And I think he was coming to make a statement. He started making posts with all his conditioning, showing, I got some obliques too. I see yours, but look at mine.
Before we show the amazement of conditioning that Ali Bilal brought last year, I want to stop and tell the young competitors and the young business people and the young bucks that look at somebody like a Ryan Terry and go, he's comfortable, he's there now, he's the champion, he's a paper tiger, and go old school Rocky from Rocky 3 and 4. You forget when he was 12th and 7th and 5th and 5th and 5th and 3rd. And somebody who has spent 10 years so hungry that you don't know because you're new. You've only felt that hunger once or twice. And he's sitting somewhere going, mate, I've been hungry for 15 years. You really have no idea what hunger is like. You missed a meal between brekkie and lunch, mate. That's not hungry.
Hey, he was still hungry before he even checked in.
Yeah.
He was starving.
He was starving.
Starving.
No, you've missed half a meal, mate. You're not hungry. It's not hunger.
Because I was calling out the names and he was telling me, hurry up. He's trying to eat. He want to eat something now.
You sounded like Rick Gervais right
Ricky
now.
Gervais, mate. That's more Ricky Gervais. That's not Ryan Terry.
Yeah,
All right,
that was good.
let's look at some Ali Bilal.
Let's go.
This dude last year when he showed up, I was like, all right, this is the next level guy right here.
He's got the trademark good looks.
Look at this. And then the smile. Don't forget to smile, physique competitors.
Great
Look at
control
that.
of his body and the intercostals and serratus and obliques.
I mean, he just has a phenomenal physique, right? Look at that full chest, the shoulders. And again, I got to give credit to Tim Wilkins. His obliques are insane. Now, I've judged them one time, and I put him in third place. The entire country of Afghanistan sent me a message saying, don't ever come back to this place again. But I've judged him in India, and people didn't like because I put him in third because he was holding water. And I said, Ali, I put you in third because you're holding water. And if you don't hold water, you can win the Olympia. But if you hold water, you're not going to be able to win a title. And he responded on stage. He said, Tarek, you want to see my back lean? I'm going to knock it out of the park. And he did. He won Pittsburgh and New York. I give him a lot of credit.
So now he has the front, I think, is very strong. He could probably have a little bit more depth, maybe just a touch. But if he can improve his back development, that's going to put him over the top and going to really challenge for the title.
Because that's not a Ryan Terry thing so much. That back was incredible. But you got guys up there like Aaron Banks, that when he gets up there with that tiny waist and just flares out, it draws the eye. You've got to have not just the thickness, you got to have the width.
Yes, and that's a great name to bring up. Aaron Banks. Banks is back and ready to get that title also. They're all very hungry for that title. That's your major top three. And Brandon Henderson, he's coming back also.
I'm going to tell you this. I know Ryan Terry is a beast. Whoever thinks he's not hungry is making a mistake. I think Aaron Banks can come in and win the title. Brandon is one of the guys that has won plenty of titles. But I'm going to tell you this. This guy here, his physique and his posing is getting better. He looks like the second coming of Jeremy Buendia.
Ooh.
You think?
Yeah.
He's got the same physique. His posing is starting to have the intensity. You know, Jeremy was not only physique. Jeremy was confidence. Jeremy was like, I'm going to win this thing, get in a fight, get arrested. It's going to be an awesome day. You know what I mean? And Ali Bilal starting to get that.
You're so funny. When I was in prep,
crazy.
I would watch, on the treadmill, I would watch Buendia videos over and over and over. And I'd get so mad because he's such a fierce competitor. It felt personal. It felt personal. Him looking through the TV going, you will not beat me. Yeah, I wouldn't. Because nonetheless, he's kind of a badass. Yeah. So that is a great comparison that he is the second coming of Buendia.
Jeremy was so intense, and I loved him. Right now, he's a dad. He's changed. He's evolved. But I say, Jeremy, I miss the old Jeremy when you wanted to fight Kimoto, who's 136 years old. I'm like, Jeremy, the guy can't see. He can't hear you. I mean, he looks like the Wizard of Oz. And you want to fight him?
He can't hear you.
Sorry, Kim.
He can't even hear your insult.
And the worst of it all is, I got to give credit to Kimoto. Kimoto didn't back down. Kimoto was like this. Where's he at?
That's a lot of guns.
I said, guys, stop this madness right now. Kimoto didn't back down.
You know he's one of your neighbors, right? It's not easy to
Yeah,
hide.
he came out gunning. You couldn't see where he was, but he came out gunning. I said, damn, Kim. Straight out of Hammond.
I think some
Straight out of Hammond.
Straight out of
I
Hammond.
think some video of that somewhere. No, I'm kidding.
God bless. Well,
Anyway.
Ali, there's a couple things, of course, he can improve. I mean, a little more upper chest and tightness, a little tiny bit more shoulder pop, maybe. What's left?
No, I would contain the shoulder and the arms. I
Okay.
would contain the shoulder and the arms.
It is the back only?
When you are a shorter guy, anything that you do in terms of adding muscle gets maximized. Contain the shoulders and the arms. Keep that conditioning. Let's just bring a little bit more detail on the back shot to go against Ryan Terry, who's posing better.
Ah.
Posing better.
Well, we are happy to have Ali Bilal
Sure.
in the mix this year. It's going to be interesting to see if men's physique competes a little bit more. Ryan didn't compete last year outside of the Olympia. Will Ali get out there like he did last year and mix it up even though
I
he's
think
qualified?
Ali Bilal is coming to do the Pittsburgh. He's coming to do New York. He has momentum, you know what I mean? And he wants to win these titles. He wants the money. He wants the momentum. He's gunning for Ryan Terry, okay? You should call your bromance and say, Ryan, there's a Bilal coming your way.
All right, I got to wrap this segment so I can make the phone call. Guys, when we come in, you let us know. As a matter of fact, we of course, have to thank this by saying we thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and share this with your friends. You tell us what you think of how the men's physique division is shaping up for the year. And as always, we got to thank Jacob Frank and his team over at Global Formulas.
They've created a protein shake which has 0 sugar and 0 fat. Tell me where else you can find something with 0 sugar and 0 fat besides Global Formulas Pro Zero and Ali Bilal and Ryan Terry's obliques. There's no other place.
That was a great segment.
Put an A for Ali in the comments.
Yes, absolutely. Chris, you got to leave straight away and go make that jacket work for you.
Yeah, I got to make it work.
The ladies' man.
Hey, man, love the lips, right?
Love the lips. Either that or it's Mick Jagger's upholstery and it's going to get back on his couch. I'm not sure.
That
Derek,
would go good.
Great to see you as always.
Great to see you, Tim.
And friends, thank you for joining us on Primetime Muscle. And we look forward to sharing all that's going on with you.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day. Hey,
Oh, sweethearts.
do you mind if I give a message to my wife? I'm sure you guys would love
my
to give a message to your wife. I want my beautiful Valentine's, my wife Heather, you make me a better man. You're the greatest mother. You are the greatest wife. And you inspire me every day to be a better man.
Wow, I almost want to give your wife a shout out. Of course, my wife. Happy Valentine's Day. I am only where I am and who I am because of you. Thank you and happy Valentine's Day. Chris, wife?
I've never been married. To this day, I'm undefeated
Do you
champ.
have somebody?
Undefeated
Do you have
champ.
somebody
Undefeated
that's dear
champ.
to you that you want to send a message?
Cut this. Cut.
All right, Chris. Everybody, thank you for joining us as always.
suck,
and
man.
we'll see you on the next Primetime Muscle.
We're not using none of that shit.